Hi guys, welcome to another audio video, and I'll be reading 2 Samuel 2 of the King James Version Bible. And it reads, And it came to pass after this that David inquired of the Lord, saying, Shall I go up into any of the cities of Judah? And the Lord said unto him, Go up. And David said, Whither shall I go up? And he said unto Hebron. So David went up thither, and his two wives also, Ahinoam the Jezreelitess, and Abigail Nabal's wife the Carmelite. And his men that were with him did David bring hope, every man with his household, and they dwelt in the city of Hebron. And the men of Judah came, and there they anointed David king over the house of Judah. And they told David, saying, that the men of Jabesh Gilead were they that buried Saul. And David sent messengers unto the men of Jabesh Gilead, and said unto them, Blessed be ye of the Lord, that ye have shewed this kindness unto your Lord, even unto Saul, and have buried him. And now the Lord shew kindness and truth unto you, and I will also requite you with kindness, because ye had done this thing. Therefore now let your hands be strengthened, and be ye valiant, for your master Saul is dead, and also the house of Judah have anointed me king over them. But Abner the son of Ner, captain of Saul's host, took Ishbosheth the son of Saul, and brought him over to Mahanaim, and made him king over Gilead, and over the Asherites, and over Jezreel, and over Ephraim, and over Benjamin, and over all Israel. Ishbosheth, Saul's son, was 40 years old when he began to reign over Israel, and reigned 2 years, but the house of Judah followed David. And the time that David was king in Hebron over the house of Judah was 7 years and 6 months. And Abner the son of Ner, and the servants of Ishbosheth the son of Saul, went out from Mahanaim to Gibeon. And Joab the son of Zeruiah, and the servants of David went out and met together by the pool of Gibeon, and they sat down, the one on the one side of the pool, and the other on the other side of the pool. And Abner said to Joab, Let the young men now arise, and play before us. And Joab said, Let them arise. Then there arose and went over by the number 12 of Benjamin, which pertaineth to Ishbosheth the son of Saul, and 12 of the servants of David. And they caught every one his fellow by the head, and thrust his sword in his fellow's side. So they fell down together, wherefore that place was called Elkathazurim, which is in Gibeon. And there was a very sore battle that day, and Abner was beaten, and the men of Israel before the servants of David. And there were 3 sons of Zuriah there, Joab, and Abishai, and Asahel. And Asahel was as light of foot as a wild roe. And Asahel pursued after Abner, and in going he turned not to the right and nor to the left from following Abner. Then Abner looked behind him and said, Art thou Asahel? And he said, I am. And Abner said to him, Turn thee aside to thy right hand or to thy left, and lay thee hold on one of the young men, and take thee his armor. But Asahel would not turn aside from following of him. And Abner said again to Asahel, Turn thee aside from following me, wherefore should I smite thee to the ground? How then should I hold up my face to Joab thy brother? Howbeit he refused to turn aside, wherefore Abner with the hinder end of the spear smote him under the fifth rib, that the spear came out behind him, and he fell down there and died in the same place. And it came to pass that as many as came to the place where Asahel fell down and died stood still. Joab also and Abishai pursued after Abner, and the sun went down when they were come to the hill of Ammah, and lieth before Giah by the way of the wilderness of Gibeon. And the children of Benjamin gathered themselves together after Abner, and became one troop, and stood on the top of an hill. Then Abner called to Joab, and said, Shall the sword devour forever? Knowest thou not that it will be bitterness in the latter end? How long shall it be then? Ere thou bid the people return from following their brethren. And Joab said, As God liveth, unless thou hast spoken, surely in the morning the people had gone up every one from following his brother. So Joab blew a trumpet, and all the people stood still, and pursued after Israel no more, neither fought they any more. And Abner and his men walked all that night through the plain, and passed over Jordan, and went through all Bithron, and they came to Mahanaim. And Joab returned from following Abner, and when he had gathered all the people together, they lacked of David's servant 19 men and Asahel. But the servants of David had smitten of Benjamin and of Abner's men, so that 360 men died. And they took up Asahel, and buried him in the sepulchre of his father, which was in Bethlehem. And Joab and his men went all night, and they came to Hebron at break of day. Alright guys, so we see that not all of Saul's sons were killed, because he had I'm not going to try to pronounce the name again, I'm sorry. But yes, that I mean Ishbosheth, right? And he was the one that was actually ruling all the other lands, because David only had all of Israel he was ruling. David only ruled over Judah at this point in time. And Abner was on Saul's side and was obviously faithful to Saul. It is good to have faithful men around you. But I guess the reason why he was so loyal to Saul was because he didn't actually have a close relationship with God. So he and Saul share that in common, because Saul lost touch with his relationship with God. So God had left him. And I guess Abner is the same. So they were somewhat kindred spirits. So we see where he basically is fighting for Saul's son, Ishbosheth, whatever his name, I can't pronounce it good, I'm sorry guys, so forgive me. Okay, alright, so we see here where they were fighting, they were at war, but because of the death of Asahel, they decided that they would stop fighting, because it's as if brethren is fighting against brethren, because Judah is of the tribe of Israel, just the same as the others are. And so we see where they were fighting against each other, brethren against brethren, and that was not the plan of the Lord. And so they decided to put an halt to that, and so they fought no more. Alright guys, so that's it. This chapter was pretty straightforward. There's nothing much here for you not to see. It's very straightforward and clean, right? So something of note though is the fact that among the men of David, only 20 died. Only 20 died, right? And those were the 19 men, and including Asahel. And we see though that for Abner's army, they actually had lost 360 men, right? And that goes to show that the Lord was indeed shining down on David and his army and his people. Can you imagine that? You have armies going against each other, and it was only basically 20 that died from your army, and on the army of your opposer you have 360 people being cut down. That says a lot. If that doesn't show that God is indeed awesome, I don't know what else is, because it shows that when God is on your side, you'll always be victorious, and the victory will be like a landslide. It won't be something that anybody has to think on and ponder on. It will be so obvious that it can't be hidden, right? You can check it. 20 against 360. Guys, do the maths. Do the maths. That's a lot. Okay? That's over 10 times the amount of people. I mean, that's just awesome when you look at it. Just look at it. It's just so awesome what the Lord can actually do, right? And what you can accomplish with the Lord on your side. You'll always be victorious. And sometimes we are fearful because that's just how we are as human beings. But we need to remember things like this. When the Lord is on your side, there's no battle that you can't win. Okay? So I need you to remember that and keep that in your mind. Okay? I'm not going to say at the back of your mind because I don't want you to forget it. You put things at the back of your mind when you want to forget them, and I don't want you to forget that. Alright guys, so I'm going to leave you right here. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification so you're alerted whenever a new audio video is posted. And guys, please also remember to share your thoughts, your comments, and your revelations down below in the comment section. Okay guys, remember to keep your salvation, and if you've not yet gained it, then seek it. There's no better time than the present to seek Him. Okay, have yourselves a blessed day. Bye.